My name is Jessica Garay. I'm the Data and Career Awareness Project Coordinator with Workforce Solutions Capital Area. And I'm just going to go in order of our presenters today. I'm going to have Eric Jones, the Director of Operations and Compliance with Austin Area Urban League. Go ahead and say hello.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, Eric. All right, we also have on the line, but not presenting, she'll be available through the chat, Barbara Ornelas with Austin Area Urban League. She's the Workforce and Career Development contact. Barbara, you want to say hello?
I don't know if I show a voice, but hello, guys.
Yes, thank you, Barbara. She lost her voice at a really awesome event they did last weekend. Thank you. Also, we have Emil McPeters, the Community and Integration Manager with Connect ATX at United Way.
Good afternoon, everyone. Nice to be here.
Thank you so much. We have Sarah Ham, the HR recruiter with Area Wide Protective.
Hi, and welcome. Glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. We also have Amy Garza with Athena Manufacturing. She's the Director of Human Resources. All right, we'll come back to Amy. She has a part of the presentation later. We also have, and it's a pleasure to meet her, Sean Gregg with the City of Austin Office of Civil Rights. She's the Fair Chance Investigator.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me here today.
Thank you for being here. And last but not least, we have Jeanette Silva, the Human Resources Consultant of Diversity with the City of Austin.
Hi, everyone. So happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
Cool. All right. So we have a pretty packed agenda. I have my phone next to me to ensure we stay on time. So I'm going to go through some really awesome resources that we have available for our justice-involved job seekers. First of all, who are we? So Workforce Solutions is a publicly funded workforce board and first responders for Travis County residents and businesses in the workforce development sector. Through our strong partnerships and strategic collaborations, we lead our region's workforce system and the development of a world-class workforce. We connect local people to local jobs. We're here for Travis County parents through our subsidized childcare programs. We're here for Travis County students and youth through our career and education outreach specialists and youth programs. And we're also here for awesome businesses. We love to connect local people to local jobs. So we have webinars such as this one and all sorts of career fairs and opportunities for our local job seekers to ensure that they have a career that they enjoy, that they love, and that they continue to grow in. Today's agenda, we're going to review some special programs launched by Workforce Solutions. We also have some community spotlights. We have a speaker from Austin Area Urban League. We're going to check out the new Connect ATX database that has a ton of really great community resources for you all. We'll take a 5-minute break just because we have an hour and a half of information to share with you all. And then our employer spotlights are going to be Area Wide Protective, Athena Manufacturing, and the City of Austin. So if you're not familiar, Workforce Solutions has a program now called Rework Now. At the start of the program, we had 260 full scholarships for rapid, safe training programs for both the City of Austin and Travis County residents. These scholarships have been available on a first-come, first-served basis. But it's really neat because we have a ton of rapid training programs that I'll show you in a second. We offer $200 a week stipends for residents that attend these trainings, transportation assistance, career guidance, and wraparound services to help residents connect to rapid training. Some of these trainings that we have available are listed on this page here. We focus on our high demand industries such as healthcare, information technology, and skilled trades manufacturing. Through our Rework Now initiative, we also launched a website called reworknow.org/Austin. If you check it out, you can see the types of trainings, the start dates, and the eligibility requirements for job seekers interested in rapid training. This was done in by funding from the City of Austin and Travis County. And if you have any questions, I'm going to link it here on this slide. Again, we'll share the slide deck after the presentation. You can call us or email us if you have any questions or if you know anyone interested in rapid career training into a middle school job here in Austin. All right, our WIOA program. So this is a historical program that has been available for our local residents, where Workforce Solutions will sponsor and provide a scholarship for occupational training. So sharing some numbers here with you, we offer free tuition up to $10,000 for short-term trainings, or up to $3,000 per semester for associate's level degrees. The training must be in a high demand industry or occupation. Now, Workforce Solutions analyzes labor market trends every year, and we produce a list of targeted occupations. This link will provide you with a list of trainings that Workforce Solutions will actually sponsor. And again, those target industries are going to be healthcare, IT, skilled trades, manufacturing. There's a ton of really cool occupations and trainings on there. Feel free to check them out. If you have any questions, I'll give you our email address again at the end of this presentation. All right, so that was pretty quick on my end. I'm going to pass it over to Eric Jones. Again, Eric is the Director of Operations and Compliance with Austin Area Urban League, and he is going to talk about their program that I have here on the screen. So Eric, when you're ready, go ahead and start.
Good afternoon, everyone. As stated, my name is Eric Jones, and I am the Director of Operations and Compliance here at the Austin Area Urban League. I'm excited today to talk to you and present to you our premier and signature reentry program, Returning Citizens Advancement Program, also known as RCAP. For those of you who may not be familiar with the Urban League, I just want to give a brief overview. The Urban League here in Austin has been established since 1977. So our workforce and career development program has been around for over 40 plus years, and it's evolved, and we've built it out, so on and so forth. RCAP is actually one of our newest program evolutions, and it's one that we're really proud of, given today's climate and whatnot. And so without taking up too much of your time, just diving right into the nuts and bolts of it. So RCAP is unique in that it is specifically for individuals who have been judicially involved, primarily those who are just returning home. Although you can participate in RCAP even if you've been home for any length of time. But it's unique in that when the individual first comes home from the penal system, we provide them what we call a transition kit. So it will have all of your basic necessities from toiletries to basic clothing, so on and so forth. Because what we discovered through the years is that often when individuals were released and came home, they were given a bus ticket and weren't really given adequate resources, being released back into society. So our program decided to take it upon itself to make sure that we were meeting those basic needs in addition to the workforce needs. So initially we have, upon enrollment, you'll sign up, you'll be assessed we'll create what's called an individual employment plan, an IEP. And so we sit down with you and we map out not just, what's available, right? But what is it that you're actually interested in? Our training is built around your skill set and your career interest, okay? And now, in addition to the IEP, the individual employment plan, we're also sitting down and we're, dealing with, some of the background issues, i.e., there may be some counseling, that needs to take place, right? Is there some kind of, trauma, early childhood trauma, any things that, you might be dealing with that could be impacting you, in your search for employment, right? Or impacting your ability to maintain employment. So we really dive deep and we have a 360 approach in making sure that you as an individual, are whole and not just making sure that you get a job, right? But the course is 6 to 8 weeks. It includes everything from computer literacy to financial literacy, but our approach is a little bit different in that our computer literacy course, it's able to it's able to serve rather individuals who have never touched a computer before to those who may just need to brush up or, upgrades on some of their skills. Now, the ultimate purpose in that is not just for you to, navigate the internet, but we also have a tech academy where we provide credentialed trainings and certifications. And so once you finish phase one, so to speak, I think it's 3 phases. Once you complete phase one of the computer literacy course, you would then qualify to go into the tech academy. And let me just pause and say parenthetically that at no time is there ever a cost to you, okay? We take care of everything. Your only time is really your commitment, time, and effort. But in phase one, there's the computer literacy. I mentioned the financial literacy component. And again, our approaches to things are 360. So it's not just teaching you, how to save $1 a paycheck, but we're going to explore things like, life insurance and, health insurance and those kind of things, the supports that really make for you being financially secure and, providing for that financial stability. After the financial literacy and the computer literacy, then we move into the soft skills development, or, you might have heard it as job readiness, right? But what does that really look like, when we're getting down to the nuts and bolts? And so with our RCAP program, we're not just, teaching you how to create your own resume and, helping you with the resume, but we're actually diving into, the pre-employment assessments, helping you navigate those algorithms so that your resume doesn't get kicked out or your application doesn't get kicked out, before you even, had a chance to really get started. We're talking about, interviewing and really being able to identify what the employer is actually asking and, what they're looking for, those kind of things, and how to navigate the tough question of, being judicially involved, right? Now, one of the unique things about RCAP is that everybody who works the program, our case managers, the program coordinator, everybody has been judicially involved, and that's a requirement to work in this department, right? Because who better to help navigate this space than individuals who have had to take the journey, right? We believe here that you can't lead where you won't go. And in this case, you can't teach what you don't know, right? So RCAP is, like I said, it's our premier reentry program. I think we have about a 95% placement rate. So if you come to the program in search of employment, the odds are there's a 95% chance that you will leave us fully employed and not just having a job, but something that you were actually interested in and passionate about. We have about 7 minutes here. I'm sorry if I'm talking fast. I just try to make sure that I stay within my time frame. To that point, I mentioned 95% employment rate. The Urban League is actually hiring right now. So if you are in need of employment, you're looking for a job, Barbara, if you will put Charlisa and your email in the chat. If you are interested in working for the Urban League, please submit your resumes to the email that will be in the chat. We are actively looking and searching for talented individuals like yourselves. So please make sure that you apply. But that is the RCAP program. Oh, no, it's not. There's one other factor that I needed to tell you guys about. So I mentioned that a large part of our participants are those individuals who have just been released. Many of them are on parole. If you or someone you know falls in that window, right, they often have difficulty finding employment. That's why we're here. Well, one of the stipulations, as we know, of being on parole is you have to pay parole fees. Well, how are you going to pay fees if you're not working right now? Well, RCAP to the rescue. If you are a active participant in the RCAP program, the Austin Area Urban League will pay your parole fees for you. Okay, that's one of the benefits of our program. And I'm sure there are other benefits that I'm probably like skipping over in my mind. We also do grocery gift cards, HEB gift cards. So we make sure that you're able to buy groceries. If you need clothing, we provide the clothing. We just gave away 800 with Barbara 800 pairs of shoes. Her voice is okay. That's why her voice is gone. We gave away 800 pairs of workplace appropriate shoes. We provide uniforms, clothing, the works. Whatever you need to be successful in the job market, the Austin Area Urban League RCAP program pays for and provides, okay, including and up to making sure we take care of those parole fees. And I think with 4 minutes left on the clock, Miss Jessica, I think we have covered it all, but please, I want to reiterate, we are actively hiring right now. So please make sure you respond. The emails that you'll need to send your resume and application to are in the chat, and Barbara Ornelas will be available to take any questions and answer any questions via the chat during the remainder of the call. Thank you so much for having us, and please, 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 we have another class starting, I want to say in about 2 weeks. So Barbara will put the starting date in the chat. I'm terrible at reading lips, guys, I'm sorry. But with that, we have another class starting, so it's not too late to sign up. But like I said, we are here to make sure that you are successful, and we try to take, as much of the burden of transitioning back home off of you as we can. And we're here to help in every way that we can. So come see us at the Urban League RCAP program. And yeah, that's us. Information's at the bottom of the screen.
Awesome, Eric. That's awesome. And that's exactly why we invited you over to present, because the RCAP program is perfect for this audience, and especially those who work with justice-involved job seekers. A really neat program. I know that they're really dedicated to their clients. We do have just a few minutes to cover some questions in the Q&A. I did see a question by Mary Moran, and it's for Austin Area Urban League. Do you help individuals with sexual offenses?
Yes. Yes. Direct answer, yes. And Barbara can provide you that information directly. Her email is in the chat. So direct answer to that is yes.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much. We'll go ahead. If there's any other questions as we move along, please enter them in the Q&A box. I did see actually one more question from Frankie Torres. Do you have a list of open positions? I imagine that's going to be on the website, but just in case. Okay.
Now, all of our positions are not posted. So please email, send your resume, and we'll start the discussions.
Cool. Yeah, and that's actually that's a pro tip for job seekers in general. Having these contacts and emailing directly is great networking in case there are not any open positions listed on the website. That's something I've learned with time. So, all right, well, thank you, Barbara and Eric. If anyone else has questions, please put them in the Q&A. We're gonna go ahead and move along. I have another really great community resource to highlight for you all. We have Emil McPeters, the Community Integration Manager with United Way of Greater Austin. It's a really awesome website, Connect ATX, that I want you all to learn about. So Emil, you have screen sharing privileges. Just let me know when you want me to advance the next slide.
Okay, perfect. Actually, if we can move to the next slide now. Perfect. And so, like she was saying, my name is Emil McPeters. I work with United Way, Connect ATX in particular. I'm the Community Integration Manager. Next slide, please. And so what I would like to do is I would like to kind of briefly describe what Connect ATX is, and also kind of attempt to demonstrate kind of a value add for searching Connect ATX to look for local resources in the community. And lastly, I want to be able to provide a kind of a brief demonstration about Connect ATX via a live demo session. And so, yeah, Connect ATX is a free online directory that lists free resources at a reduced cost. It's a comprehensive database tool that has technology for organizations, and organizations in and of themselves can make updates to their programs and services. Connect ATX also features a chat line and a phone line that I will add to the chat discussion later on. And it also features something called the social determinants of health. And really what that is it's a survey that helps to look at, by completing that survey, it helps to provide some curated responses to some resources that folks maybe didn't think about when they were logging on or navigating Connect ATX. And so next slide, please. And so quite literally, the person on the other side could be you, or it could be, someone who's coming out of a situation in which they were previously incarcerated. And so the idea is that, there is a bunch of services on the other side, but sometimes getting to those services or even imagining what those services can be somewhat convoluted. And so Connect ATX is a community resource hub that features an opportunity to connect with those resources in an easy fashion. So next slide, please. And so quite literally, I'm going to hop right in. I'm going to take this opportunity to share my screen and show and share with you. Oh, this says this will stop another person's screen share. Do you want to continue the screen share? Can I just say yes?
Yes.
All right, perfect. All right. Can everyone see my screen that says help starts here?
Yes, we can.
And so this is our call to action, actually. By typing in a zip code, you get an opportunity to narrow your search a little bit and search within the proximity in which you want to search. And so you have an opportunity to go over kind of these curated lists and when you scroll over these subject items, they break down into another category subject that may narrow your search. I'm going to look right here in workforce and adult education. I'm going to go to job, skills, and training, and just simply ask the resource database to look for something in that category. And so what comes up is one of the Connect ATX partners, Jail to Jobs, and their program Anger Management classes. What you can see here is a Connect ATX partner label, which means that everyone that is a Connect ATX partner, when they're answering referrals within the Connect ATX system, those programs populate at the top of the search results. And so essentially, what I could do is I could search and using one of these personal filters, and these filters, they really help to narrow my search regarding my circumstances. And so if I want to consider something like I want to look for a program that probably not necessarily exclusively, but caters to African Americans or to Latinos. I'm also thinking of folks that may be interested in, or maybe interested in helping, not helping, but maybe interested in servicing folks that have particular criminal justice history. I want to search for those in my filter options, and I want to select that filter option. And using those filter options, of course, it gives me the programs, and it gives me all the programs that are able to cater to this particular population as I've related to it in my filtering options. And so as you can see, there are some programs, Jail to Jobs, Peloton U, American Youth Works. I think that there's some few folks in the crowd from American Youth Works, Austin Urban Technology Movement. But there are a bunch of organizations that are offered here. And also there's a button here that says refer. And so quite literally, if I wanted to refer myself or someone else to this particular, I could push that refer button and then share a live referral with that particular organization and ask that organization to get back to me to either share what their process is, their intake process is, or to help me with some next steps as I continue to go along. And so Connect ATX can be navigated anonymously. It can also be navigated by signing in, as you can see here that my name is here. And so when you have an opportunity to sign in, you can also save favorites, or you can see referrals that were probably sent to you. And you can have an opportunity to have kind of a longitudinal record about how you save and how you receive information going forward on the Connect ATX site. Connect ATX can also be navigated in different languages. And so if I choose a different language option, I can navigate these resources in a language option that's available to me or more readily for me. And also, if I wanted to share this information, there's a share option here. And I could share via email, via text, or via Facebook. maybe I wanted to add a message. And also, there's another opportunity here to change the language that this information is received in, or if I'm sending this information out, to send that information in a different language. And then quite literally, if someone wants to review that information in a different language, they have the opportunity to change that information back at a later date. And so we host Connect ATX trainings for searching all the time. One of them is tomorrow. And so I will add that information in the chat discussion, and I will give the conversation back over to Jessica.
Awesome. Very cool. Thank you for that live demo. Super excited about the Connect ATX Hub. I know as a former case manager, that was something definitely that would be helpful working with our clients. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Sarah Ham, and feel free, if you have any questions, drop them in the Q&A box. Sarah, go ahead.
All right. Thank you again, Jessica, for having me. My name is Sarah Ham. I'm an HR recruiter for Area Wide Protective. I actually work at our corporate office in Ohio. So we can go ahead and get right into those slides. So Area Wide Protective, as a provider of essential safety services to the transportation and energy, telecommunications, and water utility sectors, AWP is seeking traffic control specialists in key areas across the country. We need you to help protect the construction, infrastructure, and repair of our nation's critical infrastructure. Now, are you interested in safety? What about protecting your friends and family while they're driving in work zones? I'm sure that you guys see work zones all over. I know that most of us have driven through a work zone. We do offer growth opportunities and year-round work, never seasonal. We never lay off. Now, we do call our flaggers protectors because that is what they're out there to do, is just protect you, protect everyone who's driving through those safe zones or those work zones. What we do offer is competitive pay with overtime opportunities. Right now, we're kind of getting into our busy season, so definitely a lot of opportunity for overtime. We have quarterly safety bonuses, an employee referral bonus. There is no cap on that as well. That's $75 bonus for every person you refer, and you can refer as many people as you'd like. Now, there's paid training and access certification to become a flagger with our company. Continued training certifications throughout the year, such as CPR certification and things along those lines. Promotion from within. Just a little backstory, we do have a gentleman that started with us a couple years back. He came in with no experience at all and started out as a flagger, and now he's running one of our facilities as a facility manager. So there's definitely a lot of opportunity within the company. There are medical benefits, 401k, you're automatically enrolled in that. Weekly pay every Friday, which is super nice. We do also give option of direct deposit or pay card option, opportunity to drive a company vehicle and save thousands of dollars a year in gas and car repairs. Now, what you will do is you'll set up a safe work zone with all of the necessary cones, barrels, barricades, etc. You'll use a stop and slow paddle to control the flow of traffic to perform lane closures, effective communication with your work partner to conduct the flow of traffic, always being on, always being alert. Like I said, safety is such a huge thing when it comes to these, to our safe work zones. Providing, leadership support and guidance to ensure the safety standards are met and maximized at all times. And this is how you do earn your safety bonuses. Now, you must be able to, or you must be comfortable as far as like physical requirements, must be comfortable lifting between, standing 8 to 12 hours. Unassisted lifting of 40 to 60 pounds, walking, lifting, standing all while being able to hold a stop and slow paddle. You must be comfortable working around high volume of fast moving traffic. This is an outdoor position and you will be in all weather conditions. All candidates must be able to submit a pre-employment drug screen and background check. Driver's license are typically required with a motor vehicle report that meets an AWP guidelines to be considered for a promotion. But we do work with those that do not have a driver's license as well. Now, ability to multitask and have heightened awareness of your surroundings is huge. And you can go ahead to the next slide. Now, we're looking for traffic control flaggers in your area. We are a fair chance employer, so we do work with a lot more backgrounds than most companies. There are some things that we are not able to work with. Now, we are also an equal opportunity employer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put our website in the chat so you guys can follow that. You can apply on that website. Also, I think Jessica had put in here some contact information as far as our recruiter. Her name is Memphis Caton. She works for our Austin facility. So you can reach out to her directly. I have included her phone number there, her email. You can also reach out to me as well. You can apply on our website. If you do apply today, we can get you started as early as next week. So we're looking to, fill these positions as soon as possible. So definitely a great opportunity to get started as soon as possible.
I'll leave this on the screen for a second. We did put the website in the chat box, so feel free to check it out. We'll also share this slide deck with you all afterwards, but we'll go ahead and move into questions. Please use the Q&A box for questions, and we'll address those to Sarah. And I do want to ask, because I've been asking a lot of employers, especially those who work with justice-involved job seekers, are y'all located close to public transportation, or what is typically the recommended method of transportation in terms of like a new employee?
So just like I had mentioned, having a driver's license is definitely going to be beneficial just for those promotions and things like that. We do work with those without a driver's license. We do typically ask that they have reliable transportation, but I do know that there is a bus stop about a mile from our facility. So I do know that we would have, protectors that would be willing to go and pick those people up from the bus stop.
Awesome, that's always good to know.
Yeah, definitely.
Another question top of mind, what limitations, if any, do you have with criminal history? Are there any limitations that you can think of, or circumstances where an individual cannot be hired for the position? And if you can't answer that right now, that's fine too.
Yeah, so it's just that there's just a little bit of a fine line there. We have a background committee that handles all of that. So once you do apply and you submit your background consent form, we get that back. We have a background committee that takes a look at all of those. And then at that point, they will reach out to the candidate and go over that background with them, give them a chance to kind of explain what's going on and things along those lines.
All right. Well, thank you. All right. So really excited about this presenter. We have the Fair Chance Hiring Investigator with the City of Austin at the Civil Rights Office. Office of Civil Rights. A lot of really great information and education for businesses and job seekers in terms of the Fair Chance Ordinance here in the City of Austin. So I'm going to pass it over to Rashawn. We also have Jeanette Silva with the City of Austin to help with questions about jobs. So if you have any, drop those in the chat as usual, but we'll go ahead and pass it over to Rashawn.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here, and thank you to all the participants that are on the line. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to sharing this information with us. And I won't talk before you very long. I want to talk to you today about the Fair Chance Hiring Ordinance. The Fair Chance Hiring Ordinance, the Fair Chance Hiring Ordinance was established in 2016. And one of the misconceptions about the ordinance is that employers have a choice, or it's a policy that we hope that they would follow. The Fair Chance Hiring Ordinance is an actual law that is enforced by the City of Austin. The Fair Chance Hiring the Fair Chance Hiring covers employers with 15 or more employees from asking about a person's criminal history during the job application process. The Fair Chance Hiring policy does not prohibit background checks from being done, but they do postpone them until later in the hiring process once a conditional offer of employment has been extended to the applicant. So the employer has to be in Austin, has to have 15 or more employees within the City of Austin. It doesn't matter if that employer's main offices is in Buffalo, New York. If they have 15 employers in Austin, then they're subjected to the ordinance and being covered by it. The location, it doesn't matter. We often hear, well, we have customer service agents working in Austin, but we're located, it does not matter. They are covered by this ordinance. You can skip. Job postings and applications. Job postings cannot say or suggest to someone with a criminal history that they will not be considered for employment. It may not contain language that states that an employee will automatically be disqualified because of their criminal history, which means that a job posting should not say must have clean criminal background, felonies need not apply, anything that implies that a person based solely on a job posting, to give that person an impression that they will not be hired. The ordinance applies equally to both internal and external job applicants. So if you're already working for a company cannot post a position that says you must have a clean criminal background. That goes for job applications as well. An employer cannot ask about a person's criminal history until a conditional offer of employment has been extended. So you can call someone in for an interview, and oftentimes I see it with staffing agencies that they have a person come in and they ask about their criminal history on the application. They have a stack of papers this big, getting all their information, and somewhere oftentimes in that paperwork, there is something, and it can be disguised as, are you able to pass a security clearance? That's just another way of saying, can you pass a background check? That would be a violation of the ordinance. Studies show that this kind of language is a barrier for returning citizens when they are searching for employment. So if they see this kind of language, then a person with a criminal history typically thinks that they won't be hired. And in Austin, if you're a covered employer, it is illegal to base a hiring decision solely on criminal history. A conditional offer of employment is an oral or written job offer for a job made before an employer asks about criminal history. So an employer has to narrow down their search. That person has to be selected for the final candidate, and then the company can run a background check on that individual. And the idea of that is to get individuals with a criminal history an opportunity to tell their experience, what they're willing to bring to the company, how they can be a benefit to the company before they are denied employment. During an interview, an employer may not ask about criminal history, cannot ask about criminal history during an interview. An employer cannot take a job offer away based on a criminal history information provided by the applicant during an interview. I've seen oftentimes that an applicant will self-identify in an interview, and they may have the best intentions, because what I understand is that TDCJ, Texas Department of Criminal Justice, have taught them to, or are teaching, or they've been taught most of the time that when you go into an interview, just be honest and tell them the truth. tell them about your criminal history. But in Austin, under the Fair Chance Hiring Ordinance, they do not have to do that, and they cannot be penalized if they do that. So employers need to really be careful about the information that they receive and how they are using it during an interview. And it can typically be an applicant with the best intentions of, hey, I just got out of jail. I want a second chance. I want to provide for my family. I have 2 kids. And then there they go. They've already identified themselves as a former incarcerated person. So again, we don't, you never know with that kind of language about it, what kind of implicit bias that brings into the job interview. So I discourage applicants from going into interviews and really talking themselves out of a job, because when you're dealing with human people, just people, they have biases. So under the ordinance, they do not have to self-identify, and it cannot be held against them. You can go ahead. Once an applicant has been selected as a final candidate and they have conducted a criminal background investigation and they've discovered that that applicant does indeed have a criminal background, employers must evaluate the person's criminal history by conducting an individualized assessment to determine whether the person is suitable for a job. So, which means that if a person has applied for a job as a cashier, and before you deny that person employment because they have a previous criminal history, let's say a DWI, then it's up to the employer to do an individualized assessment to see, well, how long ago was the conviction? Is it related to the job? What has that person been doing since this time? I understand that one of the employers said that they give a person the opportunity to talk to them, talk about their previous criminal history or what led them to that. And I hope that's after they've conducted an individualized assessment. They have to give that person an opportunity to look at that person on a case-by-case basis. Blanket statements like "we don't hire felons," that is against the Fair Chance Hiring Ordinance. Statistics show that a person that has a conviction that hasn't committed a crime in 10 years is no more likely to commit a crime than someone that has never committed a crime. So individualized assessments are a very important piece of the Fair Chance Hiring Ordinance. And an employer must tell the applicant in writing if they are rescinding the job offer based on their criminal history. So the days of calling a person and say, hey, we got your criminal background back, we're not gonna be able to hire you. No, that would be considered a violation under the ordinance, and a person can definitely file a complaint based on not being given a letter of adverse action. Very important part. And it covers, and not just employees, it covers full-time employees, it covers contractors, part-time employees. So employers have to be careful. They cannot refuse to hire, promote, or take away an offer of employment because a person reports a fair chance hiring violation. That is a very important piece to the ordinance. They cannot retaliate against a person for participating in a fair chance hiring investigation. Oftentimes, one of the good things about this ordinance is that a person can make an anonymous complaint. So if they see a job posting that has a question, or a job application that has a question about have you been convicted of a crime? Have you pled no contest? Any of those things that will be illegal under the ordinance, they can do anonymous complaint and go back and apply to that position once that work company has come into voluntary compliance with the ordinance. So it does give the complainant some protection when they are filing the complaint. So that is one of the good pieces about the that they can make an anonymous complaint, and retaliation is prohibited. You can. Our office, the Office of Civil Rights, enforces this ordinance. Businesses may receive a penalty up to $500 for a violation. Yeah, so there is a violation associated with not being compliant with the ordinance. Okay. Are there any questions for me at this time, or is there anything that maybe I didn't cover that you'd like me to cover? I know a lot of people are online on this call, looking for City of Austin employment information, and I think someone is putting employment information in the chat. Um, this is our office location. We are closed due to COVID, but although we are closed does not mean that our office is not still conducting business. So there's our website information, there's our phone number, and in addition to Fair Chance Hiring, our office investigates complaints of discrimination in housing, employment, and city ordinances. So if you have a question about discrimination, you're not quite sure what discrimination is, where can you get help, please contact our office. You can you can get information online, and you can call our office, and someone would be happy to help you with that and answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you for that presentation. I do see my Zoom says there's 2 questions in the Q&A box. I'm unable to see them thanks to technology. I don't know if you can see those questions.
One of the questions is, so it's okay for employers to ask for a consent to run a background check before they are hired? This is for the hiring investigator. No, it is not okay to ask for consent before the person is offered a conditional offer of employment. So that person does have to be selected for the candidate and offered the job before an employer can conduct a criminal background investigation. And even if once they conduct a criminal background investigation, they must do an individualized assessment before that person is denied employment. Is it okay for employers to ask for, okay, the City of Austin not only provides opportunities for a second chance, the pay and benefits enable you to provide for your family. Please look at the City of Austin at www.austin City Jobs, and you can find more info on our next upcoming Career Expo, which is going to be held May 12th, and it's free to the public. You can call, oh great, you got it up there. Frankie Torres at 512-974-3478, and he can give you more information about our upcoming job fair. Right now, the City of Austin has 141 job openings. Wow. And let me say this, the City of Austin is the largest second chance employer in the City of Austin, and we're very proud of that.
That's awesome. Well, thank you. And it looks like we have, Frankie Torres's information in the chat as well. So definitely check out the austincityjobs.org website and register for the Career Expo on May 12th. We'll be sure to send this out to everyone after this webinar as well.
I think there is one more question, Jessica, in the queue.
Yes, go ahead.
It says anonymous attendee. Do we want to read this out loud or do we want to do this offline? So asking for the background concert during an interview is not allowed, or is it okay to ask for a form in case interview is offered? The timing sounds challenging.
If it is not okay to ask for consent to conduct a background check during an interview. The only time it's okay to ask you for a consent to conduct a background check is if you're offered the job. So they have to say, hey, you are selected as the final candidate, and in order to move forward in this process, we'd like to offer you this job on a conditional basis, and part of that job, because it is a cashier position or a position that's working with vulnerable populations, then we are going to conduct a background check. Here's a consent form, and at that point, you've been offered a conditional job. Or is it okay for ask for a form in case interview is offered? The timing, again, if it's just an interview and you haven't been offered the job, then it's not okay to ask for consent ask for your permission to conduct a background check.
And this talks, the last question I see on here, where do you report that then?
You report the Fair Chance Hiring violations. You can call our office at 512-974-3285, or you can call 512-972-FAIR.
Awesome. A lot of really great questions. I think this is really good information. We do want to work with the City of Austin on providing a webinar that really goes into depth about this Fair Chance Ordinance. Rashawn works really closely with the public and community in educating them on this. So hopefully we can bring her back. And Jeanette,
Absolutely, it'd be my pleasure.
And I just want to point out, we do have a employment service person, Frankie Torres, on the call. And what the team does is, when you are ready to go into an interview, if you need that additional assistance, our team is on standby, and you can do virtual interviews right now, like do mock-up interviews with this team to help you prepare for your next interview. And that is free to the public. So definitely jot down Frankie's email if you want to schedule something of that nature. That's a great resource to have.
Awesome. Cool. All right. So I am going to thank you so much, Jeanette and Rashawn. I'm going to pass it back over to Amy. It sounds like we have the audio issues worked out. So Amy, let's go ahead and test that out. And I'm ready whenever you are.
Awesome. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yay!
I love when technology works.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for having us. Again, my name is Amy Garza. I'm Director of HR for Athena Manufacturing, and we are super excited to be here. So let's get started. Who and what is Athena Manufacturing? Athena Manufacturing is located in North Austin, and we are family owned and operated by lifelong friends, Bill Johnson and John Newman, who are also full-time employees and are very hands-on in the daily operations of Athena. So it's nothing to see them on the floor talking to production, they're just very down to earth and humbled, which kind of makes Athena a home away from home. Mr. Newman is also very involved with many local agencies and associations, including TWC, the Wyndham School, Jail to Jobs, Goodwill, Skill Point, and many other programs that provide assistance and or training for individuals who have been incarcerated or assist in the reintegration of these individuals. Even after this seminar, I'm hoping to have the opportunity to work with the Austin Urban League and the RCAP program. If you didn't have a chance to hear that, they have a really great program over there. So what do? We manufacture parts from various metals such as aluminum, different types of steel, copper, and titanium. We currently service the following industries: the Department of Defense, aerospace, oil field, the medical field, semiconductor, and motorsports. We were established in 2000 with only a handful of employees, and Athena has become one of Austin's premier manufacturing facilities. As of the first of this month, we have 234 active full-time employees, and we are forecasted to double in size over the next 5 years. Please feel free to check out our website at athenamfg.com. Next. Benefits. What we have to offer our employees. First, we have our career opportunities, career tracks. Here at Athena, we have established career tracks for each of our work centers, and each of those tracks builds on the basic principles, knowledge, and skills of the first track and on ongoing tracks. So if an individual has absolutely no experience, they will begin their career at Athena as an entry-level employee/trainee. We provide a climate-controlled manufacturing shop, so even though we're cutting metal, bending metal, we're not a sweatshop, which I believe is very important when it comes to Texas summers. We offer competitive pay. We're a growing company. We're actually growing exponentially at this time. Free long-term disability and life insurance for each of our full-time employees. Medical, dental, vision, personal time off, paid holidays, retirement and college savings plan options. One of the things that I don't have listed is we offer all of our trainees free training. So each training is part of their onboarding. They'll learn to read blueprints. We also have an on-site safety coordinator who teaches basic OSHA certifications, as well as certified forklift operator and overhead crane operators. So that's something that you can also put on your resume if you don't want to continue employment here. That offers more for you to put on your resume. Another benefit that isn't listed, but I personally believe is one of our greatest benefits is our culture here. At Athena, we create empowerment and not entitlement. So we currently have, hold on, can you go to the next slide? These are our current positions. We currently have around 30 open positions that we are actually hiring for today. Those consist of both our evening and weekend shifts. For the following departments, we have assembly, brake, which is press brake operators, detailers, hardware installers, machinist. We have various machines, lathe, mill, multi-axis. We're looking for power coders and welders, primarily MIG and TIG welders. You can feel free to check out all of our cool equipment on our webpage at athenalmfg.com. And if you know someone that is interested in a career in manufacturing, please feel free to reach out to me. Like I said, we are hiring today. We have 30 open positions. We need to be filled by first of the summer. So you can directly email all your resume to me. It's hr@athenalmfg.com, or you can email me directly at garza.amy@athenalmfg.com. We also have a link on our website to workintexas.com, and you can just search Athena Manufacturing, or you can even apply in person. And if you come in, I can try to get you set up with an interview when you come out to fill out an application. And our address is 15900 Bratton Lane, and that's in Austin, 78758. I know earlier she had mentioned the transportation issues. If you have issues with transportation, we're not really super close to any bus routes. It's a good walking distance. So if you're going to have trouble, just speak with the individual that you're having that interview with. Communication is everything, and so we're willing to work with you on that as well. So
Awesome.
if anyone has any questions.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and open the floor for questions. Again, I can't see it, but Stephanie Calderon is on the line, my colleague, and she'll be able to share if there's any questions we can address live. And I'll start, Amy, as we prepare our questions. I had one that came to mind. What are some soft skills or human skills, essential skills that you really look for in a candidate that makes them stand out among other applicants?
Okay, so we actually don't do any kind of background checks here. Whenever you come in for an interview, we basically look at 4 things. Is that person dedicated or committed? Are they coachable? Are they receptive to wanting to learn? Then what else? Basically, are they dependable? Are they committed? Are they committed to that change? Are they committed to want to be successful in their job? Like I said, we pretty much go on first impressions, how they interact. We're very old school when it comes to interviews. Did that individual look you in the eye? I know we're in the manufacturing industry, but we still like to be impressed sometimes. We don't ask anyone to wear suits or anything, but if you can wear some nice pants or a shirt, that always helps. I know we get a lot of, like I said, we work a lot with Gel to Jobs and Skill Point. And so we've had people come in here with shorts but if they come and they sell themselves, then we will, and they want to work, we will give them a job.
Nice. Yeah, and let me tell you, I have toured Athena Manufacturing, and I was almost signed up as a welder or a machinist. It's so cool to see the type of products they make. It's definitely, a really neat company. You can feel the culture as soon as you walk in. They're definitely very family friendly. Really invest into their employees. I could tell everyone was happy to work there. That's why we're glad to have them as a spotlight employer today. And John Newman is on our board of directors at Workforce Solutions Capital Area. He's always investing in the community. So you definitely want a boss that's investing in the community and has your back when it comes to just enjoying your job, So
And he really does push the second chance employment. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you, but he's really big on that. So, and prides himself. We have a lot of individuals here who have great success stories, and the more the merrier. We just want to make it changes in people's lives, and like you said, just provide a culture for them so they can grow and along with us.
Awesome. Yeah, and just to put another plug in, if anyone on the line or any case managers on the line that work with Justice Involved and job seekers and they're interested in career training into manufacturing, that is a targeted industry of ours. So we do promote those training opportunities for our job seekers. Especially, one that comes to mind is welding. If you want to take a welding class, that's something Workforce Solutions will definitely sponsor a job seeker in. Thank you so much, Amy. I'm going to move us along. Feel free to put your information in the chat if you haven't already. But I'm going to just wrap us up here. Our closing time is 4:30, and I have some other resources to share with you all as we wrap this up. I did talk to someone with the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, and they shared this hotline with me. So they help with IDs. So if you need any help with a state ID, government ID, you can call this number or email rid@tdcj.texas.gov. I know that has been a barrier for transitioning adults quite often in the work that I've done in the past. And so it's really neat to know that there's resource out there to help you with an ID, because that's typically asked when you're applying for a job. All right, and then I'm super excited about this. Again, as I shared, this recording is going to be on our YouTube channel. It's at WFS Capital Area, and we have a ton of really great trainings on that YouTube channel, as well as previous webinars we've done. Our very own Stephanie Calderon, the Career and Education Outreach Specialist for Del Valle AISD Schools, did a video on accountability, what an accountability skill looks like, and how you can possess that skill when applying for work. So this is an 8-minute video. We won't review it today, but I did provide the link. So this will go out to everyone on this call today. We're also going to have a playlist on our YouTube called Second Chance Resources. And these resources are for any adults, youth transitioning out of the juvenile justice system into the workforce. A lot of really great resources such as this that will be available. All right, and I just want to share some upcoming events. So this is our Second Chance Workforce webinar, but please join us for our monthly workforce webinar. Our next session's on May 12th. It's the second Wednesday of the month. And because we're entering the summer months, woohoo, but not excited for the heat, we're going to go over summer jobs and internship opportunities. So if you're a school counselor or a student on this call, definitely check that out. There's a lot of really cool summer jobs that are coming up, and we will promote those. So again, this link will lead you to that Workforce Wednesday webinar. And then last but not least, we are going to revisit the Second Chance Workforce webinar every other month. So this is not a monthly occurrence, but it is every other month until we build more traction. And it will be on Zoom, hosted by American YouthWorks. They're a nonprofit agency here in Austin working with youth ages 16 to 24. They have a really neat training program working with youth trying to re-enter the workforce and training. That's going to be on June 16th from 3 to 4:30. We already have some employers lined up for that, so you definitely want to check it out. And you want to hear more about American YouthWorks, that will be your time and date. And lastly, but not least, again, I say let's be social all the time. And the reason I say be social on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn is that is where the real updates are coming from on a daily basis. You want to follow us on Instagram. We're always posting cool events like this, job opportunities. And we also have our Climb the Ladder CTX website. That's www.climbtheladderctx.com. That has a lot of really cool resources for employers, educators, youth, and job seekers on career trends. So we're always analyzing labor market data to see where the jobs are. So you definitely want to check out that website as well.